Hi, I'm Reginald Argue. I'm attending the Rendezvous down in Niagara Falls 2011. I have a singer-songwriter who is a very massive fan of his, Julian Austin. Hi, Julian. Thank you
Reginald,
so much.
great to finally meet you, man. We emailed each other a little bit here and there, and we got a chance to, meet over the internet. But it's great to finally meet.
You have your guitar there, and that's big. I've seen that in your videos. Like, can you explain all the different, stickers that you have?
Well, this is it's a Taylor guitar, which I love, and this was the guitar that ended up becoming the tribute guitar for our heroes, past and present, and of course, those who are serving.
But you don't have the Signal Corps one there, though.
Well, not yet, but we'll make sure it gets on here before we retire it.
Yeah.
But and there's so many other regiments and whatnot and trades we should get on there too. But this is like my journeys over to Afghanistan. Of course, ISAF. This was given to me by the boys out of Shiloh and Edmonton. I mean, it's just on and on. Task Force Ryan, all the gang there gave me that. The 1RCHA out of Shiloh as well. There's just a lot of the PPCLI. It's just like it just goes on and on. I mean,
well, you can have the signatures in the back. He has a signature from a World War I Canadian veteran on the back.
Yeah, well, Jack Babcock, right, was and this was here, and I feel really bad because when we went down to see Jack, I flew down to see him for 2 days. Kevin McCargan and I, who's a fireman out of Sarnia, we flew down and met Liz Jackson and her son Bo Jackson, who started the Hero to Hero U.S. program, which is now the Hero to Hero Team Canada, and it's about first responders taking their shirts off their backs and giving them to our, those who serve, whether you be Canadian, American, British, what have you. So it's been a really, we went down and of course Jack signed other personal items for me before he passed on. But this, I felt bad that some of the first signature was worn off because we weren't always so quick to get to Scotch tape on it, and I should have known that when I did it. But Jack did sign this, and I went down to his home and spent 2 days with him and sang for him, and he really enjoyed the songs that we sang him. And I had a chance to eat crispy fries and tartar sauce at his favorite Rosaire's restaurant, which they had a shrine there for Jack, and they treated him. Also, I just came back from Normandy and Dieppe and Vimy Ridge and Beaumont Hamel and Hill 60 and Essex Farm. But we had a friend of ours, Jack Graham, who's with the Essex Scottish Regiment. He was 90 when he passed away this February, and his wife and his daughter had sent me two poppies, one that he wore, well, both that he wore, but one was for myself, and one would be, I was asked if I'd take it over to Dieppe, and my loving wife had done up a really nice picture of Jack, standing behind the August 19th, 1942 Dieppe veterans. He was also a prisoner of war, 34 months. So we did up a really nice frame and a picture of Jack and a write-up on who he was and his contribution to our safety and our freedom in the free world. And of course we had his poppy put in that, and I'd taken film footage of it, down at the ocean in Dieppe itself, and then later on at the Essex Scottish Canadian War Cemetery, where his comrades that didn't make it, to back home are resting. So I thought that was very fitting to leave that there. But yeah, and there's of course Bob Archer, who was a Korean War veteran, very dear friend of mine. I almost became his son-in-law. But Bob and I had a chance to rekindle reconnect after so many years of not seeing each other. And he was when I wrote the Red and White, I wrote with Bob.
That song Red and White Brigade. I mean, that when I saw the video to that, I mean, the only thing that I request is that if you ever get a chance to re-record it, if you can Iran in there too.
Well, we talked about that, so I'll edit down the road. I promise you that I will edit a version of that, and it will include Iran. And I did not know that. I thought I really had all the bases covered, but I guess I didn't quite do the. But we have other songs too that I'm working on that because we're putting it together, a Celtic. It's a pop rock band because that's where I cut my teeth, was on rock, but it's got the Celtic overtones. So it's going to be a lot of in between, just writing the good party songs that everybody can relate with and reflecting on life songs. There's going to be the tribute songs in there as well, and I'm really excited about some of the new stuff. And Still Over There is being recorded right now, but with a very, very, very big military Celtic background to that.
Can you
one too.
actually talk a little bit about that song still over there? I
Yeah.
know that you were talking to me in the past, like who helped co-author it with you.
Yeah.
What inspired you to write this? And could you tell us a little bit about the captain from the Canadian military that helped you?
Yeah, it was my buddy, Captain. Well, he's now a major, Steve Gallagher. Giberson. Sorry, I do know a major, Steve Gallagher. With 1RCHA. But this was my buddy at the time, Captain Steve Giberson, and he was with the RCDs, the Royal Canadian Dragoons, out of CFP Petawawa. And I met Steve a number of years ago when we first went over to start playing for the troops in Bosnia, and our last kind of stint, Roto 13, and it was 2004. And of course, I spent a lot of time in Petawawa, and of course, going back there, I had this idea for a song, because when I went to the Legion there, which I'm a member of, the 517 branch, I go in every now and then with my guitar and sing for the boys and the girls. But just once in a while you see the odd gentleman sitting off with that stare, and I've seen my father have that same stare, and I'm sure you've seen it, and I'm sure you've maybe somebody's seen you have that exact same stare. So,
well, when you play that song, I have to quickly interject there. When you're playing the song, I do admit that the tears do come to my eyes, because I've seen so many veterans that when I got out in '95, they're really, what happened was, it was like, well, they just shook our hand and said goodbye. But now, at least there's, for the youth getting out nowadays, at least there's some sort of support. That's the biggest thing I'm trying to do, is trying to say to the youth getting out of the military that, you are part of the brotherhood, you are part of the sisterhood, and, I think we should all work together, whereas in '95 we didn't really have that. We're going through a change at that time, but thanks to people like yourself who have you've allowed the veterans to be a voice to be heard, and I cannot thank you enough for that, especially our troops, because I've seen some individuals that have badmouthed our troops. I mean, even if you agree with the war, you don't agree with the war, it doesn't matter. What it matters is these are Canadian boys and girls.
That's right.
They chose to be the military. I chose to do the military.
That's right.
And you know what? I don't have to answer to anyone but myself and my brothers and my sisters and people like yourself. And just every time I hear that song, that's what I filled with, that emotion and the tears and everything. So thank you so much. But are you doing any other songs to help the troops too?
Yeah, well, I've written, I was asked a while back that, of course, the Canadian Forces started a program, You Never Fight Alone, and it was about suicide prevention. And I did not know that, I had many of my friends come back from Bosnia and come back from Afghanistan, as I call them, broken soldiers, right? That's another song I'm working on as I speak, Broken Soldiers, or Broken Soldier. But I mean, it really bothered me to see them come back in such shape that they were in, and not being able to understand what they went through and what they're living with. So this song here, it was a song I wanted to write for suicide prevention, because I did not realize the
Do you have a couple? Could you actually sing a couple words?
Yeah, I mean, it was you don't have to go this alone, living with the demons that torment your soul. We want you to know that we're here for you, that you're not alone. We got so many good people out there that know what you're going through and truly care. So let's get you back online so you can get back to living your life. After all you've done, it's only right. Let's turn those nightmares back into dreams. It will get a whole lot better, you'll see. You're gonna pull through. You've always been there for us, now let us be there for you. It's the least we can do. And at the end of the song, of course, it talks about let's get you back online. And that's the whole thing about getting reconnected with society and with your family. And there was a gentleman that I wrote a song, but it was too dark, and it was too, about the gentleman actually killing himself. And then they said, it was Sergeant Dan Milburn, my buddy from Army News in Edmonton, said, Jules, that's a little too dark for what we want. So I talked to this little young fella. He's out now. He was a master corporal, and he was there in the friendly fire. His friends were killed in 2002 and seen him get injured. And he came home a mess, and he got into drugs and booze. And he tried to kill himself twice. And, I, at one time in my life, I tried to do the same thing. but for different reasons. So I couldn't understand what, was making him and what he's seen, right? But we could relate with the fact that we both tried to take our lives at one point. And that's what we started talking. And I didn't know he was a big country music fan, and I was a big, he loved my music. So we started talking, and they sent me his transcripts of his, what he went through before he started getting his life. And he's the reason that, that I started writing back on mine. So that was for the Canadian Forces, and they did a documentary on it that aired I think 2 years ago, and then started coming out, and the song was played on the documentary, and he really he really inspired me to write that. So and there's other songs that I'm definitely working on as we speak. I mean I have a ton of them that give me another year, and then we'll start releasing. I'm just waiting for my summer months to be slow down, because then I can start concentrating on the fall and the winter.
So you're actually coming. You'll be coming to the Vancouver area too.
Yes. Well, we're going to just make it happen. That I'm doing a show in Mission. If there's no other shows that come in as we speak right now, I'm going to my wife's going to rechange my flight, and I'm going to rent a van. I'd like to take Sammy with me, my drummer, who's been over to Bosnia and Afghanistan with me and supports the troops immensely. Come with me and go spend a day with the veterans there as well. So we'll be in touch over that, and we'll make it happen. That's all we'll do. We'll just make it happen.
Thank you so much. I mean, there's soldiers I've talked to over there, and their fellow brothers and sisters in Vancouver area, and we really need a gentleman like yourself to come there who's willing to take time, because just talking just to one warrant officer, it just touches my heart every time I talk to him, and I just want to make sure that I'm able to give him a gift back. I mean, that's most important. But
we'll make it happen. And that's after August 13th, right?
Yeah.
Just a day after, whatever.
Well, whatever your schedule is.
Okay, we'll make it happen.
Looks like I just got the motion that we're running out of time.
I'm gonna get primed up here to do a good show for our heroes.
Leave your website too. Same time.
Yeah, www.julianaustin.com. There's also a Facebook page which I want to give. It's GI Jules, and that's G.I.Jules, because that's what the Canadian Forces men and women nicknamed me, and it's a name that I proudly carry with much pride. So.
Well, thank you again.
Oh, you rock, Reginald. Very nice to meet you, buddy, and God bless you, and thank you for everything you've done for us.
Thank you.
Thank you, man.